Secretary Weber, thank you so much for making time for us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity this morning. Appreciate it.
Just to level set expectations ahead of Election Day, I mean, do you expect that we will have the results of the governor's race that night, or the likely results at least?
You probably know the answer better than I do because you guys have been watching it, but probably not, given the fact that we have to deal with vote by mail, ballots coming in that night, being able to open up and cure the ballots and all those things. It is not likely that we would have the results that night. Now, it may the race may be so diverse and so wide apart that oftentimes we do hate the results of elected officials and others when they have truly a slam dunk kind of election, as we saw with Prop 50. So it is possible, but we've got 60 candidates, and that in itself is historic. And when we end up with a winner, and the two top vote getters that night, will depend a lot upon the spread that's there. But it's so much going on. It is not likely that we will know that night for sure.
Yeah, I know, just you mentioned those mail-in ballots. I know you have been driving home the message for people to get their ballot in early because of the U.S. Postal Service changes. I mean, do you have concerns about, especially Democratic voters that have been holding on to their ballots, and maybe some confusion around that whole, logistics between, now people at this point needing to show up to the polls and not mail their ballots? Are you concerned about that at this point?
We've said it enough to folks to actually get their ballots into some box, whether it's our ballot box or whether it's the Postal Service or whatever. We basically have addressed the folks who are the late voters to say, if you're going to do late stuff, then you want to walk it in, you're going to have to basically get it stamped and those kinds of things. But we've been drilling this home for over a year now, really since the last election, about the Postal Service and saying to people, get it in now. So people are slowly getting it there and understanding it and turning it in. But they know that we need their ballots in, and we've been saying that across the state. And I've had lots of people who've seen me on the streets and said, hey, I turned mine in. I turned it in a week ago, that kind of thing, to help them understand that it's important to get it in. If they want fast count, they got to get the ballots in.
And so to be clear, for those who have waited up until this point or this weekend, and maybe they don't live near their county registrar, like through the text message system, will you notify them if their ballot was accepted or not? How does that work?
If they put their ballot in and they're a part of the, where's my ballot box, they will get their information, says your ballot has been received and it has been counted and all of those things that we give them. So they will get that if they've actually signed up for where's my ballot.
Okay. And then just, looking ahead, I know there's been a lot of discussion about federal officers, immigration officials, or just federal authorities in general potentially showing up to the polls. The governor has suggested that could be something that happens. I know the attorney general has as well. But just to be clear, did anything happen last election for Prop 50? And is there anything indicating that we could see something in this election?
There's no indication that we saw anything in Prop 50 and some of the elections before. We always have observers, and people sometimes when we say there will be observers, oftentimes they're just elected officials across the state who want to see what we do and how we do it. And so we haven't had this rush of individuals into our ballot boxes in terms of basically places looking and those kinds of things. So we haven't really had it. We'll have observers, as we have our own observers, and we'll have statewide observers who may come into that process. But we haven't yet. And we, in a meeting with the FBI and with some of the federal assistance individuals, they have all assured us that ICE will not come to our polling places. And so they've said that over and over. We don't have any evidence of any elections that have occurred earlier that ICE showed up. So I think there's a desire not to have that. But at the same time, our governor and our AG are prepared if something were to happen. We have our folks trained. They have information. They know who to call. They know what they can and cannot do. We've trained all of our police officers to understand their responsibility in making sure that our elections are safe and secure. So we've done our part. We hope it will be a boring election like other elections where there's nothing that really happens that's crazy, but that it will be exciting because a lot of people will show up and will have already voted. So we hope that will happen.
Yeah, maybe a lot of people will show up, but at this point, motivation so far has been low according to these turnout numbers that we're seeing as of this moment. What do you make of that? The low motivation in this election right now?
You'd have to ask the folks what they see. Whether 60 people running is exciting or not exciting, whether they're getting a lot of information from all the other candidates. You hear so much, and it's expensive to run a campaign. And so we see some folks who bought up all the airways, and that's all they see. And that may not excite a lot of people, and it may excite others. It's hard to predict until the election is over. It's always interesting when I listen to people tell me what motivated them to go vote, or why they voted a certain way, or what they thought about the mail that they got, or what they thought about seeing things on television that kept them moving forward, that this is what they wanted to do. So it's hard to say exactly what the motivation is until actually people vote, and then we can ask them.
And as far as the count goes, will that be faster than in years past, do you expect?
Once again, a lot of it depends upon what we get in advance. If we're getting the mail in advance, you'll have a faster count. If our folks are holding on to their ballots to the day of the election and bringing the ballots into the polling places to drop in the box themselves or whatever they're doing, if we get massive turnouts on the day of the election, we got to count every vote. And so if folks want things faster and more decisive in terms of their participation, they're the ones participating. They're the ones who are making it happen. And we will do what we're supposed to do. We'll be, as fast as we can, but as accurate as we can, and making sure that every vote counts, and that we do what the legislature has requested us to do, to basically look up the signatures, do these things that we have to do to make it happen. We're determined to make sure that we do what we're supposed to do. We hope the elected officials and they will do what they're supposed to do, but we hope the citizens will also do their part, that they will vote and they will make sure that their ballot is delivered, whatever method they choose, early enough so they can be included in the count, and also early enough so that we will have a faster count if possible.
Secretary Weber, is there anything else you think we should know before we let you go?
This is the most important thing they're going to do this year, I think, unless somebody had a baby in their family or something of that nature that excites the world in a family. But this is probably going to be an historic election with 50, 60 some odd people running for governor. I think 15 or more people running for lieutenant governor. We've not seen this interest before, and I think that is exciting and as well as challenging. I hope everyone participates in this. I believe election is a definition of who we are and what we want to be. And please, please, please vote.
Secretary Weber, we really appreciate your time and insight. Thank you.